What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, this is the next part in that huge trade deal that I did, the biggest comic deal that I have ever done. So in this one, we're going to go over the first half of the books that I received as part of this trade. It's 24 books that are in this one. There's some awesome stuff in here, so stay tuned. Let's check out these books. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So if you haven't watched the first part of this series that I'm doing right here, don't worry about it. You can go and check that one out. That one, I was showing the books that I traded away as part of this deal. So this was a big deal that I did where I traded away 5 books and I got 50 in return. From those 5 books, there were 3 of them that were in my keeper list and actually in like the top 6 books in my keeper list. So some big books that were part of that. And so I got 50 books in return, and there are some awesome books in these too. So I thought going over 50 books in one video might be a little too much. They're all slabbed books, and I want to show each one of them. And so I'm breaking it up into 2 separate videos. And so the books that I received, 23 of them were Golden Age books and 27 of them were Bronze, Silver, and Modern. And so what I've done is I've alternated them so that we get a little bit of each in every video. And the reason I said that I'm doing half and it was 50, so you would think maybe it's 25 instead of 24, is that 2 of the books that are part of this deal, they were actually books that I had received from the person I did the trade with that I had sent into CGC for them. And so I'm basically taking a little bit of a risk on those 2 because I estimated the grades on them and I estimated the value that they were worth as part of the trade based on my estimated grades. And I don't actually know what they're going to come back as. So we'll see what they come back as. We'll see how that turns out. But that was a Avengers 8 that I had estimated as a 7 to a 7.5, as well as a Silver Surfer number 14, the one where it's Silver Surfer and Spider-Man on the cover, that I had estimated as an 8 to an 8.5. That one had a non-color breaking, like long crease on the cover though, so I was a little worried. That one might end up being like a 6 or a 6.5, but regardless, that one's not a huge deal whether it comes back either way. But those are 2 that I won't be showing in either of these videos because I will be getting them back at some point in the future from CGC. They're with my presser right now. So let's get into these books. So the first one is Captain America number 117 and a 9.0 white pages. This is the first appearance of the Falcon. Obviously, this is a book that got super hot when we had the Falcon become the new Captain America in the MCU. Now, it has cooled off a lot since then. This book has come down quite a bit since the peaks during Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, but still an amazing book. A 9.0 is a tough grade for this book, so really nice copy. So first one, Captain America 117 and a 9.0 white pages. Now, like I said, I'm alternating between gold and other. And so the next one, Golden Age book, we got Amazing Comics number 1 in an 8.0. And so this is a Schomburg cover. It's during the World War II time period, but it is not a World War II cover. It doesn't have, like Nazis or whatever on it. They would sometimes use like other characters in this one. This one, it's these like green hooded guys with skulls on the cover. But these are the ones that I've talked about where, you've got Bucky, that he is not like Robin in the Golden Age. I mean, sometimes he's tied up and being saved, but a lot of times he's, he's swinging in and he's like a badass in there and shooting people and all this kind of stuff. So just like he is here with Toro. This isn't the Human Torch, this is Toro, this is Human Torch's sidekick. But they're coming in and saving all their other, buddies that are over here that they are with in a lot of the other comics in that time period, like Kid Comics, for example, which is they spell comics with a K. And so they're in a number of different titles like Young Allies, Kid Comics, that kind of thing. But this was a one-time story. This is a one-of-one issue, and so it's Amazing Comics number 1. And a pretty incredible grade, an 8.0 for 1944. So this is a super cool Golden Age book. All right, now the next one, going to the Bronze Age. And we have Doctor Strange number 1. It's actually double signed by Frank Brunner and Steve Englehart, but Steve Englehart's the only one that you actually are getting the yellow label for, because that was the witnessed signature. But the other signature is on the interior, which is why it doesn't have a green label and it doesn't impact the grade. I've had a few people ask about that, where if there's a book that's signed and it doesn't get a green label, it's when it's on the interior. or if it's really low grade. But typically it's when it's on the interior, and so that means that they aren't going to impact the grade. But yeah, so really nice grade copy of this, 9.6, and then double signed, only officially single signed though. So that is number 3. All right, number 4, again, jump into the golden age. Cool pre-code horror cover. I've seen this book come up for sale a number of times. I've never owned it before. This is Dead Who Walk, and its number is NN, which means it's non-numbered. It's a non-numbered issue, basically a 1 of 1. And so just a really cool, you know, good girl art type cover. You've got the attractive woman on the cover, and then you've got this like really creepy ghoul that's basically saying that he's coming back to life to get her, I guess. You know, so pretty creepy cover, but 4.5, really solid presenting copy. The main thing with this one is on the back, there's a fair amount of foxing. That's what kind of like, I think, hurt the grade on this one, but front cover, really, really solid presenting copy of this book. 4.5, Dead Who Walk, non-numbered issue. All right, next one, another one that we've got signed here, and this is Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. This is Bronze Age book, but what this is this is the second appearance of Groot. So he has his first appearance all the way back in Tales to Astonish number 13, doesn't have his second appearance until 1976 in this issue. He's on the cover. In this issue, basically, because I had a raw copy of this that I got in that Bronze Age collection, and so if you flip through it and look at the stories, basically it's the Hulk battling all of these old monsters from the earlier Marvel runs, the pre-hero Marvel runs, and one of them that he's battling in this is Groot. And so this one is actually signed by Chris Claremont, 9.6. The other cool thing about this is actually a pedigree copy. This is from the Winnipeg pedigree. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that works. Like, if you wanted the pedigree label, can you get the pedigree label, or are you basically, you have to have the gold or the yellow label because it's a signed book? I'm not exactly sure how that would work if I wanted to resubmit this to get that the pedigree label, but this is a pedigree copy, 9.6, also signed by Chris Claremont. So pretty cool, pretty unique book with that. Now, next one, I'd actually just sold my copy of this book, I don't know, maybe a month ago, less than a month ago. Got another one back. It's from one of my favorite runs. This is Famous Funnies number 209. This is from the Frank Frazetta run of Famous Funnies, which went from 209 to 216. So this is the first issue in the run that he did, that Frank Frazetta did the cover art for. And I had I think it was a 5.5 that I ended up selling, and now I got a 4.5 back. Really solid presenting copy of this one. This is one that I was considering. It doesn't look like it's been cleaned. Like, you can tell it's a little bit older label. I could check when it's been graded. I don't know exactly when this one was graded. The main thing on the back is this little chip out of here, but you can see like the dirt that's on the cover. And so it tells me this book has not been cleaned, which means it also probably hasn't been pressed. And so this is one I'm really considering for resubmission, to see if maybe I could get a little bit better grade on it. So that is definitely something I'm thinking about with this one. But Famous Funnies number 209, awesome Frank Frazetta cover, first issue by Frank Frazetta in the run. All right, now the next one, so like I talked about this in the prior video. Basically, to make this deal work, I was taking everything, and so there's a mix of books. There's books that have a lot of value, you know, I mean, like that Famous Funnies 209 is a very expensive book, and then there are some books that don't have as much value, like this one. So this is Incredible Hulk number 256. This book was hot for like a second, you know, because it's the first appearance of Sabra, and so this was a really hot book for just a little bit. A 9.0 is not a high grade for this book because, I mean, it's from 1981. There's a lot of copies out there. You can see, though, it is a pedigree copy, though. That's the kind of the funny thing to me, is this is from the Savannah pedigree. It's a newsstand copy, but it's a 9.0. So this is, I mean, that's going to add a little bit, you know, like these Bronze Age pedigrees, they add a little bit of value to the book, but, you know, for a book like this, I mean, it's kind of like 9.6, 9.8 or nothing for the most part, but still, you know, a cool little thing. You know, you get the pedigree label for this book, and, you know, first appearance of Sabra. And so I don't know if this will end up heating up again later on, but we'll find out. But it has definitely cooled off since that little bit of spike that it saw earlier. All right. Now jumping back to the Golden Age. This is a cool cover. This is from a run that I've talked about a number of times, where if people want to try getting into some good girl art type Golden Age books, that there's some good options in runs like this that are relatively affordable, and this is one of them. This is Fight Comics number 38, but this is a really nice copy. This is a 7.5. It is a white pages copy. Fight Comics, they are typically like Pacific Theater World War II covers. So, you know, with Japanese World War II covers, and they are very often, they have good girl art type elements to them. Not always, but for the most part. It's kind of like a World War II equivalent of Planet Comics. But this is a really, really nice presenting copy. It's from one of these, you know, it's not from a pedigree, but from a recognized collection, the collection of John Burke. But you can see just, you know, really bright colors, especially for 1945, and a white pages copy, and just, yeah, really cool book. So like I talked about, there are a lot of great Golden Age books that were part of this as well, because I know some people were, you know, expressing in the comments that they were surprised I was trading away Golden Age books, but I'm also getting a lot of really cool Golden Age books back as part of this trade deal. All right. Next one here. This is another book that was hot for a second. This is New Mutants number 18. So it's the first appearance of the new Warlock, but it's also, I believe, the first appearance of the Demon Bear, who was like the kind of like the villain that showed up in the New Mutants movie, kind of, sort of, but the thing that they were battling in the movie. But it's a 9.8 white pages copy, 1984. Not a book that has a ton of value or anything like that, but it is it's a minor key. And yeah, so yeah, New Mutants number 18, 9.8 white pages. All right, then jumping back to another Golden Age book. This is a cool cover. I've seen this one come up for sale a couple times. I've never owned a copy before. This is Murderous Gangsters number 2. Great, like, painted cover, good girl art cover, and a nice grade, a 6.5. And so yeah, just, I mean, with the yellow background and just the red and the blue on this one, it really, really pops. That cover. And so, yeah, I mean, just a great looking copy of this book. I mean, a really, really nice presenting 6.5 of Murderous Gangsters number 2. All right, now there were a few high grade copies from this run that were in this. This is Silver Surfer number 12. You know, not anything that's like extremely notable about this one, other than the fact that it's a 9.0. I mean, it's a nice grade for, you know, 1970, for a very popular run of books. So Silver Surfer number 12 in a 9.0. All right, now this is a cool one, because this is what you'd call a pretty rare, or a Matt Baker horror cover, or the horror themed cover. And so this is Nightmare number 13. So this is one of the few Matt Baker horror type covers. Now, it also, you could call it a good girl art cover, because you've got, I mean, they're like tree women or something like that. But it's attractive tree women on the cover. And so you can call it that, but a Matt Baker cover. And so this is one of the few kind of movements into horror, or horror type covers, that Matt Baker did. And a solid presenting 3.0. A lot of times when you see this book, the colors on this one will be really faded. It's just something about that greenish blue would really fade on this one. This one has some really nice colors for a 3.0. There's, the back cover, and yeah, it's got a detached centerfold, and you can see there is quite a bit of wear along the spine. And that's what's really hurting the grade, but overall, a very nice presenting copy. I've talked about that before. When you're talking about Golden Age books, slightly lower grade books, spine wear is some of the best things that you can get if you want nice presenting copies. The same thing with detachments. You can get really nice presenting copies that are gonna have lower grades, makes them a little more affordable, but they can, they look really nice in the slab anyway. All right, like I said, there were a few of these Silver Surfers in here, and so this one, we've got Silver Surfer number 9. 9.0 white pages. Again, not anything that's overly key or anything about this one. A Mephisto appearance that's in here. But yeah, Silver Surfer number 9 in a 9.0. Now this one, again, another Golden Age book I've never owned before, but a pretty cool cover. This is Prize Comics number 53. from 1945, so really early. And this is a 4.0 and just a cool devil cover. I mean, that's really what this type of book is about. You know, you're buying it for the cover. It's a cover buy. And so you've got a pretty cool, you know, red devil cover on here. So Prize Comics number 53, a 4.0. All right, then I put some Silver Surfer books in the other box as well. This is the last one, I think. Yeah. The last one from the Volume 1 Silver Surfer that's in this box. This is Silver Surfer number 2 in a 9.2. So this is a really nice grade. Now, this deal did not come with 1, 3, or 4, which are the biggest books in the Silver Surfer run, but it did have number 2, which is the first appearance of the Badoon. And, you know, this is just a cool purple cover, but a 9.2 for one of these, you know, these square bound books is a tough grade to get. I mean, these square bounds, they often get splits. They often have, you know, big creases along the spine just because of how they are manufactured, or you have staples that have pushed through the cover. And this one is a really, really nice presenting 9.2 and white pages from 1968. All right, jumping back to the Golden Age. This is a cool one because of what's in the background of this cover. So this is Spook Comics number 25. This is an L.B. Cole cover. And so the thing I want to show is that you've got this this awesome skull that's in the background, and it's all of the background. It's like he did a copy paste basically, you know, and just placed it all over the background. But what that's from, and I think I've got the number right in my head. It's from Blue Bolt number 115. And that was actually a little earlier than this one. I think that was in 1952 maybe. But Blue Bolt number 115 is that same skull, but it's like a single skull on the cover. It's probably, I mean, might be the best cover from the later Blue Bolt runs where it gets really into the horror stuff. And but this is one where you see that skull over and over again in the background. So really, really cool L.B. Cole cover, Spook number 25. He was definitely known. L.B. Cole took designs or themes from earlier books a lot of the time and reused them later. And so this is just an example of that. So yeah, that's a really cool one. Now next, I said we were out of Silver Surfer for the Silver Age, or Volume 1 Silver Surfer. There were, let's see, there were a few from Volume 3. And so this is one of those. This one, not really anything key in this one. I think it's like the first Black Surfer or Black Body, I think something like that. So this is Silver Surfer Volume 3, number 117. Yeah, so first Black Body. And so nothing, you know, it's not like this is a super expensive book or anything like that. It's just, you know, a 9.8 white pages, 1996. So definitely a couple moderns that were in here as part of this deal. And the next one, this one was interesting because this is actually a book that I had sold to him. So as said in that prior video, I've done a few deals with him in the past, and you know, I've sold him a few books. We've done a trade in the past, and this is actually one of the books that I had sold to him, and I got it back in this deal. There were 3 books, I think, total that were part of this deal that I'm getting back, and I love this cover. I have another copy as well that I think is a little lower grade than this one, but this is Strange Worlds number 5. This is a Wally Wood, you know, like sci-fi, good girl art type cover. This is my favorite cover in the run. Strange Worlds number 4 often gets a little more attention. It's definitely the more expensive book, but Strange Worlds number 5 is my favorite cover from this run. I mean, I like the creeper alien on the cover. It always makes me laugh. And then I love the background color. I love that blue background color. It just looks so good against the red and everything on this one. Just a really striking cover for that time period. And so yeah, Strange Worlds number 5 and a 4.0, just a great sci-fi good girl art cover by Wally Wood. Right. Now this one is a really relevant book right now, you know, based on the Guardians of the Galaxy movie that's coming out, the trailers that have been out. This is Thor number 134, very high grade copy, 9.2, off-white to white pages. This is the first appearance of the High Evolutionary. And so that's the guy that basically has like the skin face thing, you know, like where it's like half of his face is skin, the other half is like a machine in the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer. That's the High Evolutionary. And so This is his first appearance, and just a really high grade for this book. I mean, this is 1966, a 9.2, just an incredible copy of this one. So really nice Silver Age book to pick up. All right, so next one, this is a early World War II content cover. So this is Thrilling Comics number 18 in a 3.0. This is Doc Strange. That's who this character is that's on the cover. He was one of the popular characters of this time frame, was often, fighting in the, World War II, beating up Nazis, that kind of thing. And that's exactly what he's doing here. He's going after this torpedo, and you've got, the Nazi flag on the cover and that kind of stuff. So just a 3.0, nice presenting copy, a little bit of color fade on the top, but overall a really solid presenting copy of this book. You can see some tape stains on the back, but on the front, this book presents really, really well. So Thrilling Comics number 18 in a 3.0. All right, and next, another really high grade Thor book from the Silver Age. This is Thor number 169 in a 9.4. This is the second part in the Galactus origin story. So the two-part Galactus origin issues are 168 and 169. And this, personally, 168 is worth more, but 169 is my favorite cover of the two. I really like the background of this one. So you've got, just all this detail that's in the back and just in a really cool blue tone. And so this is a cover that's always just been really, really striking to me. And it reminds me of books like Iron Man #1, where you've got all this detail kind of like hidden in the back, where the thing that really catches your attention at first is the Galactus outline in Thor, and you don't really think much about the background. But then when you start looking at the details back there, there's just tons of great detail in the background of this cover. And a really, really nice grade, 9.4 from 1969, off white to white pages. So great Thor book, especially since people they seem to be talking about Galactus and Silver Surfer a little bit again. So we'll see, what's going on with those. All right, next one, another World War II cover. This is from 1945. This time, this is another one of these characters that was popular in that time period from this publisher. But this one is the Grim Reaper. He's one of these characters that whenever I see him or like the Black Terror, I always think that they're one of the villains. And it's because, he's got the skull and crossbones on his cape. The Black Terror has the skull and crossbones on his chest. But they're heroes in this time period. They just look like villains to me. So this is a Japanese World War II flamethrower cover. Pretty respectable grade too, a 5.0 from 1945. Nice page quality, off white to white. And it's got the Bonnets store stamp on it. So you'll see these big Bonnets store stamps on a lot of books, especially from Golden and early Silver Age. They would put these big stamps on there, and they sold a lot of comics. So there are a lot of Golden Age books out there that have those Bonnet store stamps on them. But yeah, so Wonder Comics number 5, 1945 in a 5.0. And you've got the the Buy War Bonds little stamp down in the corner there as well. All right, so we've got 2 left in this one, and then I'll make another video where I go over the rest of the books that are in the other box. So that's another 24 books that I'll be talking about. So this is X-Men number 121, Bronze Age high grade book. This is the first full appearance of Alpha Flight. The bigger book is X-Men 120, just because it has a darker background, tends to be harder to get in high grade. So that's one of those things where you've got the cameo in that case is actually worth more than the first full, so the opposite of Hulk 180 and 181. So it's just kind of interesting how those things always play out. But really nice grade, obviously a 9.8 for X-Men number 121, first full appearance of Alpha Flight. Another set of characters that there's been rumors off and on that we're going to get Alpha Flight in the MCU. I have no idea, but I mean, there's nothing really ever wrong with, a 9.8 Bronze Age X-Men key. So that one. The last book, we're going to close out with awesome Golden Age cover. This is one of the cooler Golden Age covers that I got in all of this, and I've never owned this one before either. This is Weird Mysteries number 2. I have a Weird Mysteries number 1. I have a raw copy of Weird Mysteries number 1. This is a Bernard Bailey cover, and this cover has always just really grabbed my attention. I've seen it for sale a few times, and you've just got, again, you've got the attractive woman on the front, and just all these super creepy heads, and just so much detail that's in each of them. They're all different. It's not like somebody just pasted the same, you know, skull or face over and over again. They're all, you know, very expressive, different faces coming out of this, you know, this witch's cauldron. And yeah, so really cool Golden Age pre-code horror book, Weird Mysteries, #2 from 1952 in a 3.0. So that is the 24th book that was in this box. Like I said, there are 24 more in the other box that I'll show in a follow-on video. Plus, I have the 2 books that are off with the presser right now that I will eventually get back from CGC. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Start to get, you know, an idea what I traded those, you know, those 5 big keys for. I got, you know, a lot of really cool stuff as part of this trade. So I'm very happy with the trade overall. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, you want to see the next part of this where I go over the remainder of the books that I got in this trade, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button is right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.